right, guys. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be speaking to you. I'm so happy. Thank you so far for the likes, comments, shares, and also the subscriptions. If you've not been sharing, please share because this might be a blessing to someone around you. And so, if you have been following on the lead talk, we've been talking about effective living for the past like 4 weeks, and I've spoken about a whole lot of things. So go there and then watch and then also share. But today I'm going to be talking to you about how your perspective affects your life. How your perspective affects your life. I'll start by a quote from Reverend Sam Ademi. He said in one of his book I read, he said, "When you change your perspective, you change your life." When you're changing your perspective, what you're doing, in effect, is that you're changing your life. So we are people. We do a whole lot of things. Human beings. We wake up every day. We go about our activities. We meet people, and then situations happen. We create situations, and then other people create situations. So sometimes for us, and there is always a definition we're giving to things. There is always a how that we see things, a particular way you see, you perceive and define situations and circumstances around you. For an instance, you could have two people and then you bring, for example, let's say a navy blue color trouser, and then you ask them and say, please, what color is this? The same trouser, two different people, you might have two different answers. One might tell you this is black, another person might tell you like, no, I think this is navy blue. Well, the thing is, and then everybody will owe to his opinion. Why are they having the different definition about the same trouser? That's because everybody owns his perspective. Sometimes we call it opinion. Everybody owns that. Nobody can impose a perspective to you about something that you do not decide. They might suggest, but it is your own duty for you to decide that this is what I choose to see this thing as. And so the lens at which you see things, how we give it a definition, is actually what is perspective. Don't mind the big English. So we at every point in time, whether knowingly or unknowingly, you're either acting or reacting to things. Knowingly or unknowingly, you're either acting or you're reacting to things around you. How do you act? You act when you take actions based on your own, you determine your actions, you decide it out of without any external influencing your actions. And then when we talk about reacting, is that the things you're doing, the particular action you're taking at the particular time, is because of some external forces determining to you, or you determining your actions at every point in time. So it is said that if your definition is wrong, your pursuit will be wrong. So that is why you have to get the definition about things around you properly, because if you do not get the definition properly, you will be running after the wrong things. And so we don't only see with our eyes. Let me say that we don't only see with our naked and physical eyes. We also see with our mind. And the biggest thing, in fact, the eye of your mind is very powerful because it can shape your life. It can determine how you live. When you see something with your eye, it is your mind that gives the definition of what that thing really is to you. So when you see the color of the trouser, it is your mind that interprets for you that no, this is black, and then it forms a picture in your mind, and then you begin to live believing that this color is black, not navy blue. So when you see with your mind, if the definition that your mind gives to your being is wrong, you'll be pushing after the wrong thing. And so your perspective about things, you have to alter it, you have to change it, you have to be able to see things from the right perspective. And at every point in time, you're either seeing wrongly or you're seeing right. That's positively. You're either seeing negative or positive. You know, oftentimes there are times that you you just cannot see a possibility out of things around you. Situations come up to you, you said, no, this situation is here to actually put me down. Oh, I'm going to die. No, this challenge is so much on me, and all of that. But when you place another person, different person, you find out that the person sees the problem not as you see it, but probably you see it as an opportunity for him to thrive. So there's a story in the Bible about the ancient Israelites. The, God promised them a city flowing with milk and honey, and the beautiful city. And so he said they sent spies to go checking out the land, sent 12 spies, and then two people out of the 12 that were sent, when they went, they came back and said, wow, this city is beautiful as God has said it, and we are well able to take over that city, to go into that city. While the remaining 10 decided to see the wrong things, have the negative perspective about the city. They say, hey, the city is beautiful, quite alright, but there are a whole lot of giants in the city. In fact, we are like grasshoppers in our eyes. They will swallow us. He said that they said that the city, in fact, swallowed up its inhabitants. But the question is, if the city swallowed up its inhabitants, how are the people you said are living there, the giants you said are living there, how are they living? That in itself is a lie. So they transferred fear into the heart of the other people. So the same people, different people sent to a particular city, the same city, but they decided to see it differently. While the others are focusing on the giants that could take them over, the other people were seeing the possibility of us enjoying all the goods that are here. So if your perspective is wrong, even the things that are meant to be a blessing to you, when you see them, you begin to run away from them. Even the things that are meant to be for your breakthrough, when they come in form of a challenge, it will put you running. A lot of times the blessings that come into our lives, the beautiful things that God orchestrates to come into our lives, sometimes can come in a form of a challenge. Sometimes it will come like a problem that you need to solve. And if you do not have the right perspective when you see them, you begin to run. That, oh, this thing will overwhelm me. And what is meant to be a blessing to you will turn out to be your frustration. So that is why you need to get your perspective very, very good about everything. Every one of us is a product of our perspective. If you change yours, you're changing your life. You can alter your life by just altering your perspective. For instance, you could have two men married to women, their wives. When one can decide to see his wife as a blessing, but the other will decide to not see his wife as a source of his frustration and source of his misfortunes in life. And by just the definition that these people give to their wives, they will have different results in their family. While the other that sees his wife as a blessing will be enjoying a good home. It's not as if the woman will not have issues, will not have faults, but he decided not to see her in the light of her faults, but he sees her in the light of what she truly is to him. He'll begin to enjoy favors because of her, begin to enjoy multiplication in the things he does. While the person that decides to see his wife as the source of his problem, even when she's doing the right things, he will never see it. He will always see the negative out of everything. I think sometimes the problem is not really the problem, our perspective is. Like the two men in the story about women, for instance, the problem is never with any of the wife. The problem is with their perspective. So when you change your perspective, when you change the way you decide to see things, you will live better. When you see negative, your life will always be going towards the negative lane. When you see positive, your life will always alter to the positive lane. So learn to see rightly. I know the beautiful thing about our perspective is that we have the power to change them. We can decide to change them. We can decide to alter them. I've been talking about altering your perspective. You can decide to change the direction at which we decide to see things. How do we do that? We do that by changing the information we feed upon, because our mind has gates. We form the pictures in our mind by what we allow to enter into our mind. You can decide to put in new information into your mind, and when the information in your mind changes, your perspective changes, and when your perspective changes, your life also change. Every software we use on our computers today have what we call set of instruction that they work by. There are certain pre-installed instruction that the manufacturers put into those softwares, and by just so doing, the software is meant to work based on the instruction that is installed in the in the computer to make the program work. And so when you want to change the program, all you need to do is to change. If you want to change how the program works, all you need to do is to change the instruction that it has been installed. So that is how your mind is. If you want good things to begin to come out of you, you change the information. Begin to feed on the right things. Begin to stay around the right people. Begin to imagine the right things, and the moment you begin to do that, your perspective begin to change, and then you will begin to live better. If you've been seeing the situation around you as a force, a giant that is meant to put you down, all you need to do is to begin to see it in a new light. And how do you do that? Feed on the right things. Begin to think, begin to stay around people that see problem as opportunities to thrive, not as another opportunity to fail. And when you do that, you will live so much better than you've been living. A famous quote in the Bible said that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As you think in your heart, so are you. The way you imagine things, the way you define things, the way you perceive them, and the way you decide to react to them is who you are. Is the sum total of who you are. For instance, anybody, whatever anyone says to you, you can decide to give it your definition. I can decide to say, oh, I meet a lady, for example, and then they say, oh, hey there, you're looking very beautiful. This might mean different things to different people. One lady might see it as a compliment and to be happy for that. Another person might see it as this person is already crushing on me. So it's based on your perspective, and anything that anyone does to you, it is your own decision to give it a definition. And whatever you define it, you begin to see yourself acting towards that direction, and at the end it's determine your action, and then your actions of course determine the outcomes of your life. So your perspective affects your life because you act or you react based on the definition you give to things, that your mind gives to things. And then you can change your perspective by just changing the information you're feeding upon, changing how you see things, changing how you define things, by staying around the right people and also feeding on the right material. If you do that, your life will always be upward when you decide to see positively. So decide your life today, decide the direction of your life by deciding how you define the things around you. I believe this has been a blessing to you. Thank you very much for joining me. Keep joining me every Saturday on the same platform. I love you so much from my heart. So next week I'm going to be coming with a new series. I titled it Making It Life, and in another word, success code. We're going to be learning how the attitude, the habits, and the things that some people do that makes them to seem to have a grab at success all the time. I love you till next time. Like, comment, share, and also subscribe. I love you.